Welcome everyone to Landmark School's 50th year. Now Landmark is 49 years old as we enter our 50th year. I think you all know that I feel excited and optimistic at the opening of every school year. It's why we're here. Obviously this year has felt and presented quite differently than any other in our history, as we have indeed been confronted by a confluence of realities and challenges, the greatest of which being COVID-19 and systemic racism, violence, and injustice. Within this environment, I truly hold tremendous respect for and gain inspiration from each of you and all of you together as you all took on COVID-19 personally and professionally and faced this overdue period of reckoning. These realities have affected the entire world, including us, and you have responded with a unity of purpose focused on our common mission to make a difference for our students and for each other and in the broader world, which is the foundation of this amazing culture and community at Landmark, a coming together to do what it takes for our students to support each other and to inspire change. So, welcome to each of you. You are the 2020-2021 Landmark team. You are the foundation of Landmark, the keepers and builders of our culture and community, and you are the reason that we are successful. The vision that holds us together and the work we do are always driven by Landmark's mission, which I repeat when we come together every year. Landmark's mission is to enable and empower students with language-based learning disabilities to reach their educational and social potential through an exemplary school program complemented by outreach and training, assessment, and research. Everything we do emanates from our mission statement, including our diagnostic, prescriptive, individualized, customized educational model that meets each student where they are in the learning process through one-to-one tutorials, skills-based classrooms, and curriculum. This is a unique model and program. You won't find it elsewhere. It is solid, evolving, refining, and yes, unique. This uniqueness pertains greatly to the COVID-19 environment as we continue to provide the best programs possible because of what you have created and are implementing on campus and online based on who we are. Adjusting to the demands of COVID-19 has reinforced that Landmark is greater than a school with a mission. Landmark is a mission with a school at the center, and outreach, and online, and research, and advocacy, and collaborations, and partnerships. Working to create greater awareness and a broader impact for students with language-based learning disabilities, a mission focused on our own students and those well beyond our campuses. Never has this been more true than since March of 2020, when our mission and programs had to be extended to even our own students in very different ways. So today, while we're all together, as always, at our opening meeting, I'll bring you up to date on some vital Landmark statistics. I will present some themes and some thoughts for the year. And of course, I'll mention a few books that I found meaningful in the last 12 months. So as for students, we are opening with 439 students. At EMS, that's 165 day students. And at the high school, that's 274 students. That's a large number and an amazing number, and I am so thrilled that our enrollment numbers are so strong during this year in this environment, and that our students continue to be appropriate to our mission at the school. This bodes well for today, and it bodes well for the future. It's a strong statement of Landmark's value. Congratulations to our admission department. You have truly done yeoman's duty. Libby, Mel, Emily, Carol, Katie, all of the testers. Thank you for your integrity with this process, working with the campuses on profiles, and for opening the door to Landmark for so many. Congratulations to each of you. The admission process does not work without the flexibility, creativity, and cooperation provided by both the high school and elementary middle school campuses, allowing us to accept students into the multiple program niches that we have. So thank you as well to the campuses, to Bill, to Claire, and your teams for coordinating so well with admission and integrating our students for the first time into pods, online programs, on-campus programs, and hybrid programs this year. Never before done, and you made it work. To the Landmark team, to make this work, we have 319 employees school-wide this year. That's both campuses and all departments. 8 people on our faculty and staff have been here for less than 1 full year. Welcome. It's nice to have you as part of our community. That means that 311 people have been here for at least 1 full year. 222 people have been here for 5 years or more. 174 people have been here for 10 years or more. 107 people have been here for at least 15 years. 83 people have been here for 20 years or more. 58 people have been here for 25 years or more. 45 people have been here for 30 years or more. 34 people have been here for 35 years or more. 13 people have been here now for 40 years or more. 5 folks have been here for 45 years or more. And 2 people, Carl Pulkin, and you know who you are, have been here for 50 years, since before the school opened in 1971. We are truly intergenerational. We have much to learn from each other. Thank you all for being the people of Landmark, here to celebrate the opening of our 50th year. This year's management team, with whom I work directly, is a blessing to me and to the school in the leadership that they provide. And the team remains strong and experienced. Deanna Hearn is our Assistant Head Director of Outreach, in-house legal counsel, teacher and coach, and connoisseur of incredible coffee. Bill Barrett is head of our high school campus. Claire Sullivan is head of our elementary middle school campus. She's new at this job, as you all know. What a year to take it on, and what a job she has done. Rob Kahn has moved on from that position, and we have not yet had a chance to celebrate Rob, but we will. Larry Carroll is our Director of Finance and Operations. Libby Parker is our Director of Admission. Susan Thomas is Director of Marketing and Communication. Michelle Grenice is Director of Advancement. Dave Seiter is Director of Facilities. And John Ells is Director of Technology. This management team, along with our emergency response team, Andrea, oh my gosh, the work she's put in, Jess and Shari, Jillian, Alen, John, Debbie, Carl, Tucker, Rob, Laura, Tara, Kirk, Ariel, Scott, Daniel, Jen, have done heroic researching, analyzing, tracking, questioning work for hours and hours and hours. Exhausting and emotional efforts to prepare Landmark for a fall opening in any of the 3 modes that we had to consider. This group deserves a huge and long round of applause and gratitude for making Landmark a safe place to come to as we open this fall. While we had to cancel our in-person summer programs, Deanna Hearn's outreach program still had active online outreach summer seminars. The Skills Plus program with Margot Marcoux was successful. Our high school tutoring program for the first time with Ariel Martin Cohen was successful. Kate Kinsman, thank you for teeing up the Google Suite for education for our faculty. Lots of activity over the summer, even though we couldn't have live programs. And Dave Seiter and the maintenance and grounds and housekeeping crews also deserve a huge and long round of applause. Dave has not slept in a long time. Can you spell ventilation or ion filtration or plexiglass? The work that's gone on to this by Dave and Daniel and Zach and Lauren and Jillian and all of the folks working so hard to prepare and maintain us, it's amazing what they have done to make our school ready. Our Board of Trustees has been ever ready, ever supportive, providing all kinds of encouragement. Maura James handed off the chair of the Board of Trustees to Tilo Henkes. Tilo has been so active with us, with the executive committee. We're very grateful for the board, involved, invested, and supportive, and here for a long time to come. Thank you to the trustees. We all benefit from behind-the-scenes work of the business office. Jody and Patty, Jillian and Linda and Larry, from healthcare and payroll to accounts receivable and payable to audits, etc., etc. Larry, the audit's done. We would be in big trouble without this group. And always to be recognized, thank you to TotSpot. The TotSpot team also needed to flex and change, and we all know it's not easy providing virtual meetings for preschoolers, but they made it work. So thank you to everyone who has helped prepare for this academic year and all of the programs. Huge effort, and we are grateful. All of this leads to some themes and some priorities for this year. I have often mentioned Landmark's value proposition, that which differentiates Landmark. Our one-to-one tutorial model, academic advisor model, customized scheduling, skills-based class structure, etc., etc. These are all designed on a diagnostic prescriptive medical model, and these provide for us the maximum opportunity within an educational environment to meet all of our students where they are in the learning process, to create success, where they are in their own individualized learning, in their social emotional development, and in their understanding of the broader world, which is increasingly important. This model creates a clear advantage and a value proposition for our students in this environment. Now, more than ever, this value proposition differentiates us. Our model differentiates us. As a theme, think of this: Landmark at 50, individualized and customized to meet everyone where they are. That's the value proposition. What we do, why we do it, and how we do it comes from that phrase. As stated, COVID-19 has not been the only challenge to be highlighted this past year. We have also been in a long overdue period of reckoning and outrage against systemic racism and injustice in our country, and we have been called to deeply examine our own culture and community at Landmark. While our community is strong, people are invested in each other's well-being and inclusion, and all are encouraged to speak with their own voices and to self-advocate, we are not perfect, and there is more that we must do. Our job is to make a difference, certainly and obviously for our students and their learning needs, but also in the big picture of honoring and supporting human rights. This is in no way a political statement. This is an obligation within which we simply are called to love our neighbors as ourselves. Do you believe that students with language-based learning disabilities are discriminated against in some of the broader educational systems? Yes. Do we support equity in education for all students? Yes. Do we believe that systemic racism exists and is wrong? Yes. Do we support the Black Lives Matter movement and other human rights movements? Yes. Do we believe that equity and justice for everyone is a human right? Yes. I have always been moved by the life of Nelson Mandela. He made a difference. Mandela was in a prison cell for over 27 years for fighting against the horrific practice of apartheid in South Africa. Toward the end of that time, he was known to have said that his imprisonment was the best thing that ever happened to him. He was asked why he could say that. He said, because it's changing the world, isn't it? And it did. Apartheid ended, and Nelson Mandela became the first democratically elected president of South Africa in 1994. Your work is changing students' lives, and Landmark, the mission, is trying to change the world of education to make it equitable for all learners. We can also, together as a community, make a difference regarding equity, racial justice, and human rights. While we are not in control of so very much, this does not mean we are out of control, and we can and will continue to determine who we are and what we need to do. Moving forward, we are focused on 4 priority agenda and action items and goals within our strategic plan. The number 1 priority action area is nurturing our human capital. That's our faculty. That's you. That's our staff. That's you. And that's our students. We're focused within that nurturing of human capital on health and safety, physical and emotional health and safety. No discussions or decisions have been made here without this as the priority. The management team, the emergency response team, and the Board of Trustees will continue to focus on health and safety with vigilance and with best practices. Another aspect of nurturing our human capital is building our endowment to increase salaries and financial aid for our faculty, our staff, and our students. And a final piece of nurturing our human capital is diversity and inclusion initiatives, deepening our commitment to equity and anti-racism efforts. This is an active initiative on both campuses. Thank you for all who are involved, and this will become more active this year. A second priority within our strategic plan is advancing education and science related to language-based learning disabilities. That's our outreach program and the research that we do. A third priority is fostering financial sustainability. That's making sure our budgets work every year. That's fundraising, and that's building these endowments. And the fourth priority area in our strategic plan is enhancing campus development. That's improvements to our campuses every year and additions where we can get to those additions. So finally, also a common concern across all educational platforms that I talked about last year is the increased levels of anxiety appearing in students of all ages, from kindergarten and on up. This has been a discussion in all private and public schools. Because of COVID-19 and visceral examples of racism and violence, we have increased reason to be concerned about the social, emotional health, and well-being of our students. This too is part of our work to create the safety and the security and the confidence and the community connections that help to minimize anxiety and loneliness. All of our programs and direct face-to-face or mask-to-mask or screen-to-screen communication with students helps, and we must teach and model good communication and the skills to handle such anxiety. Seeing the enthusiasm and the excitement exuding from both the students and the families as they returned to Landmark was an emotional reward for all of the effort and every dollar that went into preparing us for the fall. And this was a total validation of your impact and what you mean to our students and their families. Our culture must continue to embrace each person for who they are, respect the dignity of every human being, and continue to establish our foundation for our commitment to best practices, equity and justice, and we will not stop working toward these goals. I mentioned that we have 319 employees. As I speak of the Landmark culture of our assembly of an intergenerational team, I am very clear that each and every person on our faculty and staff is essential and makes a difference. Take away any one person, and some aspect of our culture and programs is weakened. Each person is making the school work in their specialized way, changing student lives, engaging with parents, supporting each other, assuring health and safety, fulfilling the mission, maintaining facilities, and on and on. From our most veteran member, 50 years, to our newest, 2 months, the school does not work without you, your voice, your commitment, your dedication. You are the Landmark family, and you are carrying on this culture, building it, assuring its future. Thank you for making this so. And please come to me or anyone you feel comfortable and safe with at any time to talk about your thoughts or your concerns regarding anything I've just talked about. Welcome to the Landmark culture and community of 2020-2021. And during this time, I have had ample time to do some reading. So I have a few books to mention, and I'll go through them as best I can. The first one, and a couple that to begin with, I admit, these are sort of the popular books that are out there, but I read them anyways. The first one is a book called Chances Are by Richard Russo. This focuses on long-time relationships and the intimacies and intrigues therein. The best part of this is I always love Russo's style and depth. He's pretty amazing as a writer. The second book is Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. Yes, a long-standing New York Times bestseller, I get it, but I could not put it down. It just captured me, the diversion I needed at the right time in the right place. A good read and lots of fun. A book you probably have not heard of, The Road to San Donato. This is a beautiful book. It's written by Robert Picuzzo. Robert's father, Stephen, is in the beauty industry in Boston. He's quite a guy. And this is a deeply moving father and son story filled with history, family legacies, and relationship building as told by a Boston-based author as they took a bike trip together. It's pretty powerful. It's a great book. A Little Life. I actually don't recommend this book, but A Little Life by Hangahara. Phew. This was recommended to me by my daughter and my son. Perhaps the hardest and yet one of the most moving books that I have ever read. If you pick it up, prepare yourselves. It isn't easy, but when you put it down and it's all done, you say, wow, I need to think about that for a long time. That's the nature of that book. Just a couple more. The Splendid and the Vile, Eric Larson. I don't know if you know Eric Larson. He wrote The Devil in the White City and several other books. This is an amazing book as Larson digs in deep and takes us back to a time of true leadership by Winston Churchill as he faces the German threat from his very first day as Prime Minister and how he taught the British people to be fearless. Pretty incredible. I mentioned Nelson Mandela. Dare Not Linger. This is a beautiful book. After being imprisoned for more than 27 years, Nelson Mandela became the first president, as I mentioned, of a democratic South Africa in 1944. This is the story of his presidential years, written by him and one of his family members. Really beautiful. And finally, because I can't go a year without reading Malcolm Gladwell, Talking to Strangers. Malcolm Gladwell. He tries to answer the question, why do our interactions with strangers so often go wrong? This is Gladwell at his best. It's a lot of fun. You can read it in snippets. I recommend it. Thank you all. You moved me to tears. Welcome to Landmark.